From the year 1993 in the Sentinel Tribune. ABC Errs in decision to admit women, by Bill Ryan. Equality. In the 11th frame column on October the 26th, it was mentioned that a local bowling center was introducing a new league with a Battle of the Sexes format. Before the ink was barely dry, the American Bowling Congress decreed gender no longer mattered. While the former instance had nothing to do with the latter, it is perhaps the biggest story in bowling in the decade, perhaps the century. Years from now, bowling historians will point to October 1993 as the date bowling history changed. How it will be viewed by historians could be quite interesting. Time will tell. It could be viewed as a major step toward equality, or it could be tagged as the date when, in the name of equality, women's bowling suffered. You see, the ABC has voted to allow women as members. For over 100 years, the ABC has served male bowlers. For more than 75 years, the Women's International Bowling Congress have been giving equal service to women bowlers. What is equal? That is the question. A women's church league applied for membership to the ABC, reportedly over the quality of service of the WIBC and the women's association that served it. The league got its wish and can now be accepted as an ABC member with all rights, services, and privileges that go along with it. At first glance, this may seem to be a victory for women's rights. Yet, future ramifications could be fatal for WIBC and perhaps the Ladies Professional Bowlers Tour. And then under the Associated Opinion column. When the ABC voted to accept women, the WIBC gave notice that if challenged, it would likely accept men. So why have two organizations? Mixed leagues jointly sanctioned by the ABC and WIBC might now only sanction through one. Which one? Both are good, but it is likely that ABC would prevail if battle lines were drawn. A real man would never consent willingly to being a member of the Women's International Bowling Congress. Declining bowling membership in both organizations has forced cost-cutting measures to help maintain fiscal responsibility. Further decline would be extremely difficult for WIBC. In the next chapter, it will be the professionals' turn to be challenged. If so, somewhere soon, a woman will compete against the men in the Professional Bowlers Association. While certain male egos may be destroyed if they lose to a woman, overall the talent level would not be conducive for a woman to have much success in the PBA. That is not a chauvinistic statement. This writer knows many women who can beat most men. It is merely factual that on the whole, men average higher than women on the same or similar conditions. And therein lies the problem. If the PBA must accept women, then eventually the LPBT would have to accept men. Male bowlers could come in and virtually steal away LPBT tournament dollars, taking that money out of the hands of women who have worked hard and deserve to cash in on their hard work. Men who cannot compete with the best of the PBA would flock to the LPBT to vie for that money. In doing so, women would be pushed aside. The LPBT would fold, or it would become the minor league of the PBA. The LPBT has strict guidelines forbidding males to compete. For the LPBT knows and understands the necessity of separation of the genders. WIBC officials understand that. Even ABC and PBA officials understand that. Some people, however, just don't get it. They fail to see the big picture. There are already in place vast amounts of tournaments and leagues where men and women compete together on equal footing. It's called a handicap. Handicaps allow lower average bowlers of either gender to be given bonus pins to compensate for the skill level of the better bowler. That is equality. That is great. And when in the course of political correctness it now becomes necessary for women to belong to a men's organization, believe it or not, people, women lose. For, to even the score, men can then invade women's organizations. And be honest, ladies, there are certain times or places where you don't want men involved in your operations. Men and women will always mix. It is a part of life, and thankfully so. Yet there are also differences between the sexes, and there needs to be a separation just to keep nature in balance. In this writer's mind, the ABC and WIBC have always been on an equal plateau. ABC serves men, WIBC serves women. What works for men does not always work for women, and vice versa. It's simple to understand, equal and fair. But that was not good enough for these church ladies who chose to upset the balance. Isn't that special?